Welcome to another iRacing video with MacLogo. This time we are on Snetterton. It's the VRS Sprint race on the famous actual British track. I say famous. Unfortunately, it's not that popular and in iRacing. I think it's kind of avoided by many people. It's a track that you need to buy, and it costs $11 around that-ish. And actually, it's a really great track. It's really fun to race, a driver's track where a lot of the race can be decided by really the driver and not so much differences between the cars, I feel.
Okay, Dave, get ready. Solar has retired from the race.
I've been practicing this track and I'm now doing the 14-minute sprint race.
2 litres remaining.
I managed to qualify in P6, and I think there was one guy missing, so maybe it's already a P5 from the beginning on. I wasn't quite sure, but really a fun track with not a lot of marching for error in the side, because there's no runoff zones. It's just grass. If you touch the grass, you spin or you go wide, and it's kind of interesting to drive. It's a lot of different techniques needed: trail braking, accelerating hard out of very slow bends, and also first gear bends, kind of. Really interesting racing for me. I love the track, and I really enjoyed this race, and that's why I'm actually also showing it. By the way, I'm using the new Porsche GT3 R, the GT3 car. Rear engines.
Don't be pressured. Keep your exit speeds up.
Something that's few people don't know, as the RSR is actually, or was actually, the first Porsche that was mid-engines, where the motor was actually pushed in front. I think it was turned also to have a different alignment of the exhaust pipe, but also to be able to fit a huge splitter, which they need in GTE. The engine was placed in the mid of the car, which made it more competitive. At the same time, the GT3 car, the normal one, is still a rear engined car, so the engine sits actually on top of the axle and at the back in the rear. So the weight is different, and it's actually also different driving a different car. They did, however, update the suspension a few years ago, which made the car again very competitive, and this has now also been going into the new GT3 Cup car, which isn't yet in iRacing, but I guess will also come very soon, I guess. So I think it's a double wishbone now that they use, that produces more front axle grip than it used to have. The Porsche used to have an issue that you wouldn't have much turn-in, because of course the weight is very at the back, but you always had a very good acceleration, a very good traction, as the weight sits low and sits far at the back, with the engine, which the engine is built flat, but also far to the rear. But the GT3R, kind of, as I heard, it's just things I heard. I don't know, I have no experience with the car myself, but I've read a little bit and I've watched a few docus about it, and it seems that the GT3 car is very competitive, and also actually has a good turn-in due to the newer suspension, the updates, and yeah. And I feel in iRacing, it's really an interesting car. It's kind of, I think, hard to drive than many others, as maybe also setups are not that developed yet. They still need to learn the car, but I think a lot also has to do with just the weight being far back, and the pendulum effect that you have with weight being the rear. So if the rear gets loose, then it's not as easy to keep traction, and it kind of feels sometimes it's pushy. It hasn't got a lot of turn-in. Here I made a mistake. I hit the inner curb, so the guy could pull up in the Ferrari, and I know that I'm faster. I stayed on the inside, kept the throttle down. And
alright Dave, hold your nerve, just keep it smooth, no mistakes.
If I turn in clean laps, then I can pull away from this guy. So clearly I didn't give space, or I didn't let him go by, because also I feel the BMW, the white car in front, is actually slower, and I can get near if I lap cleanly, and if I really hit the braking spots and so. Back to the car. I think maybe it's one of the harder cars to drive, or to drive quick. I mean, by no means quick. I'm around currently a 1.8-ish iRacing. Hopefully able to gain some more, because
the gap behind's increased to 0.9.
I can still normally in races I can be around the top 5 guys normally, and I think that means that I should actually, if I would race more, I should have a higher iRating. I'm now trying to catch up a little bit and get the iRating up, so yeah. But the car is still, for me, I'm kind of prone to make some mistakes in this car, as it's maybe sometimes a little bit sketchy, and you need to just be constant. Here again I go a little bit too wide, lose a little bit of time, but I should be able to reel in the BMW in front. I think the BOP is currently quite nice. All the cars are kind of together. I feel like it's not a difference that much to what car you have to be successful. Basically all GT3 cars seem to be on a very good level, so it's fun to see the fields filled with all kinds of cars, like Lamborghini, like the BMW, which is really strong and also nice to drive. Also Mercedes, AMG, and Ferraris also. It's really cool to have this mix of cars. But for myself, it was kind of like a dream to get the Porsche. I mean, I love the GT3, not only because of Grello, the car that won the 24 hours. I just love the form, and I would like to learn to race this car properly, to get faster with it. I also heard there would be changes coming to the car, to the front axle. I think after Spa, I heard. It's a rumor, but a lot of people say it. Because I think it might be that the car is, the front axle is very bouncy currently. Maybe it'll get a little bit more traction, or different traction also possible, which could of course make it a little bit more competitive, which would be nice. I mean, I think it is already very competitive, but I've also seen top racers drive it and do really well in it. Maybe it gets a little bit easier to drive, I'm not sure. But a lot of that is also prone to setups, but it may be the front axle, maybe just the bumping. If you hit the curb, then
stick to the plan. Don't be intimidated here.
The front often hops twice, or has a little bit of weird hopping. I'm not sure if that's also so with the real car, but yeah, maybe it could handle curbs a little bit better. But let's see. I mean, I'm enjoying it, and also the sound it makes is just phenomenal. That 4-liter boxer engine, V6 boxer engine, natural aspirated. It's just it's fantastic, and it's also the difference if you compare to other cars. The BMW has a straight
okay, Dave,
turbo,
you're reeling this guy in. The
which
gap's
is also
now
nice,
0.6.
but the sound isn't just. It's different with naturally aspirated cars. That just have for me a better engine noise. But nice to have a good. The new cars have been really well implemented. Lamborghini also with the sound upgrades, and really seems to be good. And I also raced that before. I really like it. But also I also tried the Beamer. Oh, and I think he hit him here when the Lamborghini turned. So we go past him. and kind of this fast corner here can be a little bit sketchy in the Porsche. It's the difference, I think, to some of the other cars. And again, I go too wide because braking too late. I think one of the difference, maybe to the other cars, is the Porsche is kind of loose, and as more as you push it, the looser it drives, and it's only fast if it's loose. So if it goes in a straight line and turns in exactly as you want, then it's actually not fast. So it's always a little bit on the slidey loose side when you're driving, when you're turning fast laps, and it's just kind of getting used to that. And kind of it's harder to drive, but it's also fun because it just feels great. It feels like kind of rewarding to drive it. That's why I just like it, together with the sounds, which is just fun for me. We're now about I think 17 or 15 minutes into the race. It's the temperature, street temperature is quite high, which is kind of a little bit weird. It's it's England, and I think that's something that iRacing doesn't simulate that well.
Okay, Dave, don't let this guy distract you.
Temperatures, if you compare them, European temperatures, also in the morning, if the ambient sun temperature is 18 degrees or 20 degrees in the morning, then the track will never be at 40 degrees. That's just not. It's not Arizona. It's England, or it's Europe. So the track would be much colder than that. But yeah, that's just details. I mean, we're racing and it's fun. But that's maybe something that could improve. But yeah. It's peanuts. Similar also, I feel, to the handling of the Lamborghini. The Porsche can, if you do a long trail
The gap behind
brake,
is now 0.8.
or also you turn in and you're coasting or you're trail braking, then the car will at the end get loose, and you have to stabilize it with power. But not too much, just slight, and that's just a thing common, I guess, with mid-engine cars, or at least in iRacing. The Lamborghini has this, and I think the Porsche sometimes even can have it, also can have it even more. But yeah, it's just something that you need to get used to and you need to adjust to. So here I was pretty happy. I was pretty lucky. Also, I know that the guy in front of me turned. I felt I could be faster than the BMW behind me if I turn in, nice laps, and try to push it a little bit more. The thing is with this car, it's not one that likes to be overdriven, or for me, if I overdrive it, then I'll basically every time I'll throw it away. That's maybe easier with a BMW, or maybe also with a Ferrari. If you overdrive it slightly, it's pushing normally, and it doesn't kill you that fast. That this car really, if you push it too hard or you overdrive it, it can easily kill you. Something maybe that's also fun with the RSR. Even so, I feel the RSR is very much different to drive than this. Of course, it's also a mid-engine versus a rear engine, which you cannot kind of compare. And also the RSR is, of course, much more aero, has got a huge diffuser which produces downforce, and pretty much different to the GT3 car. But still, some things that I love about this car is the traction out of the bends. It's just phenomenal. You can stamp on it, and it doesn't spin the wheels, or not a lot. I really have to overdo it. That's the benefit. Of course, it does push a little bit more out of the corners. It doesn't kind of on power turning that much as an Audi or a Lamborghini. But yeah, I think that might be correct. Also, with the true car. But yeah, I guess that will be tweaked anyway in future. But still, maybe I wouldn't recommend this as the first GT3 to begin with if you're starting to race. I mean, yeah, if you like a car and you just want to drive it, pick the car that you like and just learn to drive it, of course. But I guess a Ferrari.
The gap behind is now 1.4.
A Ferrari 488 is just slightly easier to drive at the beginning, and also the BMW is easier to drive. It handles a little bit easier, but yeah, if you like it, to pick that one that you want and have fun. That's of course the main thing. I haven't been racing a lot of official races in iRacing lately. I've been doing more of league racing. So I wasn't still. I did actually quite a lot of racing. I have one race basically every week where I prepare. It's in the Apex League, the GT Trophy, where I also drive the Porsche. And I'm in amateur class, currently sitting around maybe P5, P6 in amateur class. I'm actually very happy, to be there to improve my driving. Also, have some nice competitive racing, and really just getting used to all the racing for 1 hour. I'm just learning racecraft. Unfortunately, this race has gotten a little bit stale as I can pull away from the guys at the back, and I'm just slowly reeling in the guy in front. But one thing that I also noticed in this
the gap
race
in front is now 2.3.
the guy is maybe slightly faster than me. I guess he's taking it easy. I can reel him in, but I won't be able to overtake him without taking a huge risk or an unnecessary big risk. We'll see how that will play out in the rest of the race, as I'm just trying to lap constantly to hit the apex of the curves. And let's see. I'm also looking forward to doing a bit of endurance races. Also, I, by the way, have joined a team. I'm now with a Spanish team, which is the Nitro Racing team. I have a mate that is also racing, two mates that are also racing in the Aerial League, where we actually get to know each other. And I'm happy, to be able to race with them. Also, share information and just have fun anyway with other friends, and looking forward to do some endurance with them, and also learn a little bit of Spanish, which would also be great, of course. Something really nice about this iRacing community. You can meet friends from basically everywhere over the planet.
That's 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes.
And I meet guys. They're just have the same enthusiasm for racing and for the game, and have fun. So looking forward to the upcoming maybe the endurance, maybe 3-hour races, and also later on 24 hours or 12-hour races. Let's see how I can maybe capture that, or do you have maybe a video.
The gap behind is now 2.9.
But let's see in future. I have also lately upgraded my settings. I've got a direct drive wheel, a fixed rig, which has really improved for me, improved experience driving. I mean, I'm not really that much faster with it. It's not, or the direct drive hasn't made me faster on anything. It's still, you can be as fast in a G29 on a desk table. That's not about it.
You're reeling this car in.
It's really
the gap's now 1.7 seconds.
That you have, but the experience while racing, it's phenomenal to sit in a race seat, and every lap feels consistent. And you just feel the feedback, the force feedback Yeah, I really like it, and that's the thing. I think if you're enthusiastic for it and you can afford it and you have the space and everything for it, I mean, yeah, go for it. It's really fun. And I kind of managed here to pull out a gap from the guys behind me, as I said before, lapping fairly constantly, not doing large mistakes so far. Kind of getting closer to the guy in front. To that BMW. But I'm pretty much sure I won't be able to overtake him, or that's what I thought during the race. I won't be able to overtake him, or just get near. If I can get into the slipstream, maybe he can pull me. I can get near. By the way, it's pretty much high downforce here. He makes a mistake, and I was able to pull near, but it was already in the braking zone. I'm not going for a move here, so. And also, I did a slight mistake on my own, but now at least I can try to follow him in the slipstream. And it's just more fun to race like this. And here I also go a little bit wide. But that's the BMW Turbo has enough grunt. And also with this driver, I didn't lap consistently after that, and he really pushed here. So I'm trying to calm down, just get into the zone again, and pull near again, because I lost time here. You can see also the guys in behind caught up a little bit as it slowed me down, got me a little bit out of the rhythm. But to be honest, Snetterton is really a great track to have fun with and to race. It's not a track where you see a lot of overtakes, but just to learn a track and to race on it, it's super fun here, and I think it's well worth it. And I hope that people will see it and will actually also buy the track.
The gap behind is now 2.6.
Because unfortunately, this was really at 4 o'clock. I think it was the 6 o'clock race in the evening, which is basically one of the races, CT 6 o'clock, which means this is basically the race where with almost the most splits. Normally, I can remember when VRS had 6 to 8 splits during this time, and really had races with a widespread and similar drivers. And this was 6 o'clock, and it was only 3 splits. This is split 2, and I was car, I think 14 or something like that. So about in the middle.
Well done, Dave. This is great. Come on, keep nailing those exits. 15 minutes remaining. 15 minutes to go.
I think the front drivers are around an iRating of 2.1, 2.2. And I'm managing to keep it up with them, and that's why I say, hey, I should actually, if I would race more, I should be around 2K-ish, maybe 2.1. I hope so. I mean, iRating doesn't mean a lot, but just to compare a little bit, and also to see how it can improve. But it's a pity that's only 3 splits, which is maybe also due to the fixed series that has also split the VRS races a little bit. A lot of people seem to like the fixed series, especially with 20-minute races, no stop. I actually love to have these 40-minute races, as it's just it's more fun, as it's a little bit longer, and with the pitting, there's a further element that I love to have, and that I kind of miss. I've not done a fixed race before. I guess I should also try it, and I've also heard that it's a little bit more closer, a bit competitive, or at least in the higher splits. Not sure how it is in the lower splits, but I also have to check how many splits there are. But 20 minutes is just short, and you know, also for the safety rating, if you make a few mistakes, then you quickly have a minus safety rating. And in the 40-minute races, yeah, it's kind of fair. At least if you do not crash or have incidents
the gap in
at
front
the
is
end.
now 1.5 seconds.
I think kind of the gap is staying, or is stabilized. Yeah, he's not pulling away really. I can kind of follow, but I'm not really getting very much near. I can, if I push it, I can get closer. I have there are certain places where I'm a little bit quicker than him, and there are parts of the track where he's quicker than me. But if I nail it, I can get closer, but I'm not actually really catching up, or not in a where I could overtake him. And I'm looking forward to the pit stop, as I want to see if I can get closer then. I'm still using race laps to refuel, which works for me perfectly. And we'll see how, because
The gap behind is now 3.1.
Because race laps does fuel quite nicely to speed up with the average. I should be pretty close to have, let's say, a little less than 1 lap left in the fuel tank after it refuels, and that also shortens the pit stop that I have. So let's see if I can get close when we're pitting. But I'm also trying to get close before that I can come in close, that the difference is as small as the distance is as small as possible when we pit. But yeah, let's see. So far not made huge mistakes in this race, but yeah, we'll see at the end. And something that I also like, the dash of the Porsche is really nice. I think it's kind of, or it seems to be a more modern one than other cars have. Oops, and here I had a slight mistake. But we were able to recover. It's the car just shows straight away.
This is terrific. Exactly what we came here for. Okay, Dave. 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left.
The car shows straight away if you the low fuel with a different color, which is pretty neat. Not sure other cars do not show that. I think. Of course, you can also change the dash, but it's pretty informative. So you know, hey, okay, I've got a low amount of fuel, and of course I also have the crew chief that tells me.
The gap in front is now 1.3.
The crew chief that tells me when to pit when I've got when I'm on the lap, on the penultimate lap before I need to pit, and I'm actually I'm starting with 60 liters, pushing it maximum to as far as I can go, to have a light car at the end to refuel less, and I think normally that's for me just the best strategy for VRS sprints. I think of course if you would run IMSA with multi-class, then it might be better to go in before basically a lot of LMPs or different cars are lapping you. so you don't lose the time you're in the pits then. Like such strategies, but here with one class, for me the best strategy is currently to go as long as possible. If you're maybe following somebody and you cannot overtake, you can also save fuel. That'll give you maybe one lap more, but that's not the case here, as I'm basically going full out on every lap, and I'm not in the slipstream. And also this track is a high downforce track. I think the Porsche setup is with wing 9, this setup that I'm using.
The gap behind is now 4.5 seconds.
And I'm using the iRacing setup, which works best for me here. Not sure, but I think this is the last lap, and I think we will go in after this lap. Because if you look at the fuel, 4.2, and I guess a lap is about 3.2 or 3.5, not sure anymore, but this is pretty much the lap before, or the lap when we will go into the pits. Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah. If I would have been nearer and I could have maybe coasted a little bit, I would have maybe
the leader,
managed.
Moreno, is pitting.
Yeah, exactly. The first guy is going. And we will also follow. If I could have saved fuel, I could have. Here, very interesting pit entry.
What's your speed limit in the pits? Box in a 5.
Not the perfect entry, and also
4.
the pits
3.
is kind of stepped.
2. 1. Box now.
Just a little bit weird. Not a perfect stop, but yeah, not a lot that I lost. And we could pull a little bit nearer, just a few, maybe that's even a second, I guess.
Pit exit's clear. Stay behind the white
Or
line.
maybe half a second. And basically at this time I knew, okay, yeah, I won't be able to catch him.
The gap in front is now 1.0.
If he doesn't do any mistakes, and he did not do any mistakes, no major ones. And I just thought, yeah, okay, let's push it, keep behind him, and settle in for a nice third place. I'm very happy with I would have been very happy with the third place, but yeah, let's see how it'll play out. I think it's about 7 minutes to go. So around I think 3 laps or something like that, or 4 laps, not quite sure. And because I'm near, I started to push a little bit, to just thought I could maybe get into the distance, maybe to profit from an error or something. But let's say this was already this was the first kind of mistake or something that I learned now for this race.
That's 5 minutes to go. Come on, keep it together. We'll be on the podium here.
I should have settled in and just raced it securely, because unfortunately, yeah, errors have been made. And I have more than enough distance from P4, P5. If you look back, it's really a nice gap that I was able to drive out. And I was so far really not doing mistakes, driving cleanly. But you will exactly see why the Porsche and myself, and yeah, I'm not blaming it on the car, but it's just. If you push this car too hard, and that's something that I should know, then things can go bad, or let's say things will go bad.
Alright Dave, you're gaining on this car. The gap is 0.9.
And here I'm still, lapping cleanly, really pushing it, and he also has to go full beans. I actually know in what part of the track I will gain. And that is exactly here in this, at the end of this corner. Normally I'm braking a little bit slighter, and I can gain time normally in the last part just before the bend, like here. I can pull a little bit nearer. But yeah, let's say I got too much into a zone where I thought, yeah, now I need to push nearer, I need to catch him up, and it was really stupid in hindsight. That's a good thing when you record and when you also watch your races. I think it helps to see such mistakes and to see what you can improve, where the mistake was you did. This lap was still okay, still fine, still driving really safe. Let's say something to know is the Porsche is unstable if
just 2 minutes left, 2 minutes to go.
If you brake too late, that's basically kind of a, let's say, not a death sentence, but it's a very common thing with this car. If you brake too late, if you brake too long and too late, that's when the car gets unstable. When you're too fast into a corner, that's something to really to avoid with this car. And if you push too hard, that's basically often the cause of death, let's say it like that, or the cause for big mistakes. With a strength of field of 1916, this was quite competitive, let's say it like this. It was around the iRacing that I had. I had a little bit less coming into this race. I was at back to 80 or 90 something. And with the third place I would have made a nice gain here. But yeah, can basically already say, you know, the overdriving the car is basically what happens here. I'm trying to get near. I feel I can get near to him and kind of make a little bit of pressure for the last lap, for the penultimate lap, and just, you know, getting on the accelerator too early can cost you, unfortunately. And this was, I think, the second last lap. I really saw here, oh, okay, I can push near, and here you can see the first thing, accelerating too hard out of the bend, which can happen, but it's a sign of, you know, trying to push, and I'm overdriving it slightly. And as soon as you brake too late in this car, then yeah, it gets hard.
The gap ahead is now 0.8.
See here, I really pull near through that part, and I knew now I'm in kind of in a distance where he just needs to do a slight mistake. Maybe I can put some pressure on him, and I just should have chilled, should have gone easy. But yeah, in the next race, or the next races. Here I come out wide, and now you can see in this lap, getting too early on the gas, too much steering angle, get on the grass, and lose it. And this was very unfortunate because the car is turned around. It's hard to get on the track. I lose 2 positions really badly. And now I'm out of shape to, you know, to keep up. And there's 2 cars closing in. If you see the AMG, I kind of lost the rhythm here.
You're pulling away. The gap behind is now 7.7.
Some cars, you know, really that I could have easily kept in check, and during the race could have pulled out the distance. I lost stupidly. And also now I was talking to my mate, which was also doing the same race in another in split 1, which also made me not concentrate on the race. And this is the second mistake here. Too fast into this corner, driving, slipping out, and I let pass the AMG, which is super stupid again. Lost 3 places here, almost lost a 4th place versus the Porsche. Yeah, but things happen. It was still a good race, except for the last lap. And still had a safety rating gain, of course, iRating gain, but yeah, it could have been better. So, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you had a good impression of Snetterton. Take care, have a nice day, bye bye.